I wonder how many of you have stumbled across this creepy little creature in the pages of your neuroanatomy textbooks or your online resources. He is known as the homunculus. Believe it or not, this little dude actually lives in your brain. Well, more specifically, in the precentral or postcentral gyrus, depending on his function. Hello, I'm Dr. Nikki, an anatomist from Australia. Today, I'm going to help you to become acquainted with the motor homunculus. If we track back to 1937, Wilder Penfield and Edwin Baldry published the first comprehensive map of motor and sensory localization of the human brain. This was visualized as a distorted humanoid figure called the homunculus, which in Latin means little man. Its form or body shape indicates the proportion of cerebral cortical area, or the number of neurons located in the cerebral cortex, which are dedicated to motor or sensory activity for each of our body parts or regions. In today's lightboard video, we will only focus on the motor homunculus. You will recall that this specific cortex is found in the precentral gyrus, which is immediately anterior to the central sulcus and represents the most posterior strip of cortex in the frontal lobe of the brain. You will also recall that the primary motor cortex is contralateral in its function. Therefore, it represents the skeletal muscles of the contralateral or opposite side of the body in each of our cerebral hemispheres. The primary motor cortex, of which the outer 1 to 5 millimeter of grey matter features a unique and elegant arrangement, where the cell bodies of neurons that control a specific body part or region are organized together to control muscles that work together. For example, the muscles that allow us to move our lips are organized in a specific cluster of nuclei that control that region of the cerebral cortex, as seen here. The arrangement of body parts on the cortex is referred to as Somatotopi. This can be visually depicted by drawing the body parts or regions above the cortical area that controls it. The first thing we need to remember is that the body is inverted anatomically onto the cerebral cortex. At the supromedial part, specifically in the anterior paracentral lobule, we find the area that is responsible for moving our toes, leg, and thigh, which is located on this medial strip over here. Then, if we move laterally, we work our way up the body. So we then find the areas corresponding to the trunk. We reach the shoulders, the arm, and notice the large proportion of cortex that we allocate to the hand and the fingers. As we move inferiorly, we then have the area that represents the face. So these are going to be the muscles of facial expression, as well as the area for the lips. As we then approach the lateral fissure, we then find the muscles that are responsible for speech. So specifically, the muscles that are going to help us to move the tongue. Secondly, from this drawing, you will notice that the body parts are disproportionately represented. This is because the number of pyramidal neurons dedicated to a particular movement actually depends on the frequency of that movement, or how important it is to our everyday activities. For example, notice how large the representation is for the hand, the fingers, as well as the muscles that correspond to the face. If we're thinking of our everyday actions, think about how much time you spend talking. Think about how much time you spend moving your muscles of facial expression. And think about the fine motor movements that our upper extremities, specifically the hand and fingers, are going to perform throughout the course of the day. If we had to take this two-dimensional cortical map and recreate the human body in a three-dimensional form by mapping the proportion of the neurons in the primary motor cortex, we now get this little guy, which, as we can see, has awkwardly large hands, has very long fingers, has a huge face, and has some super plump lips. Thank you for learning neuroanatomy alongside me today. Please check out some similar Drawing to Learn videos on my YouTube channel. If you've enjoyed this video, please click like and please make sure that you pass this on and share this with your peers and colleagues.